The World Endurance Championship is heading to Imola for the very first time, as the Italian circuit will play host to the second round of the 2024 season. This is my race preview detailing all the information you need to know ahead of the highly anticipated 6 Hours of Imola. The WEC returns to racing in 2024, and finally we will see the return of top-level endurance races at this classic Italian circuit. Heading into this event, we're coming back from the Qatar 1812 kilometer, which began this 2024 season. Porsche Penske Motorsport were victorious in hypercar with the number 6 entry, driven by Andre Lauderer, Kevin Estre, and Laurens Vanthoor. And because of that result, the number 6 Porsche is now at the top of the hypercar standings heading into Imola, with the number 12 Hertz Team Jota Porsche in second, and the sister Penske entry, the number 5 car, in third. The LMGT3 standings are headed by the number 92 Manthey Pure Racing Porsche after their win in Qatar, and following them is the 2 Aston Martin Vantage GT3s, the Heart of Racing entry ahead of the D-Station entry. For the second round of the season, all 14 manufacturers that compete in the WEC this season will be present for the 6 Hours of Imola. Once again, these car manufacturers will be spread across 2 classes, the hypercar category and the LMGT3 category. Like the previous event in Qatar, Imola's entry list features 19 entries in the hypercar class and 18 in the LMGT3 class, and both categories combine to create a 37-car grid for this 6 Hours of Imola. While there won't be any changes on the entries competing, there will be some changes on the driver's side of things. One of these changes surrounds the Alpine Endurance team, as their driver, Ferdinand Habsburg, suffered an injury and won't be able to compete in this event. We of course wish Freddie the speediest of recoveries, but Alpine have drafted in Jules Gounon, the 24 Hours of Spa winner, to drive their number 35 Alpine A424 alongside Charles Malesi and Paul-Loup Chatin. Another fact about drivers that I want to mention is that Cadillac Racing have chosen to only have 2 racers in their lineup for their number 2 Cadillac. These 2 drivers are Earl Bamber and Alex Lynn. The third racer that was in Qatar was Sebastian Bourdais, but he's busy for the IMSA event in Long Beach. This decision means that the number 2 Cadillac will be the only car on the grid with just 2 drivers in its lineup. Let's now talk about BOP, or Balance of Performance, because there are some changes heading into this event. On the hypercar side of things, many cars have gone through some changes. Most notably, Toyota and Ferrari should be a lot quicker compared to Qatar, and I would say the same thing for Cadillac's V Series R. On the power side of things in hypercar, Isotta Fraschini's LMH has been given the most power, where Porsche's 963 has been given the least. But even though Porsche has been given the least amount of power, I would not rule them out from fighting for overall victory. On the weight side of things, Cadillac's V Series R is now the lightest entry out on track, where on the other hand, Peugeot's 9X8 is now the heaviest. Also, quick note on the 9X8, it's actually the only hypercar on the grid that won't feature a BOP change from Qatar. It remains at the same levels. On the BOP side for LMGT3, there won't be any major changes to the power side of things, but on the weight side of things, the Aston Martin Vantage GT3 will lose 12 kilograms of weight. That means it will be the lightest car out on track, with the Lexus RCF GT3 continuing to be the heaviest entry out on track. So this event, the 6 Hours of Imola, will take place at the track known as the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Iadino Ferrari Circuit, more commonly just referred to as the Imola Circuit. As I briefly mentioned before, this Imola Circuit is hosting a WEC race for the very first time. However, this is not the first time that a World Endurance Series has come to this track. During the 20th century, the series known as the FIA World Sports Car Championship, which was around from 1953 until 1992, raced at Imola on 3 separate occasions. The first was in 1965, but that was a GT-only event. The WSC returned to this track in 1974 for the event known as the 1000 kilometers of Imola. The race was won by the number 2 Matra Simca MS670B, and the event was held just before the iconic 24 Hours of Imola held on June 15th and 16th. Imola's last appearance in the WEC came in 1984, and this of course was during the legendary Group C era. The winner of the race was Brune Motorsport, which took the win with their Porsche 956. Interestingly, the upcoming WEC event is not the first time that the 6 Hours of Imola has taken place, and coincidentally, that past event was actually the last time that top-level prototypes participated at this Italian circuit. The event in question was held in 2011 in the series ILMC, otherwise known as the Intercontinental Le Mans Cup. Battling for overall victory were the iconic LMP1 cars, with car manufacturers Peugeot and Audi both present. In fact, it was the number 7 Peugeot 908 that would take victory in the hands of Sébastien Bourdais and Anthony Davidson. And even after the WEC was established and top-level prototypes weren't involved, the Le Mans series continued to race in Imola under the ELMS banner from 2013 onward, and to this day, Imola still has a place on the ELMS schedule. However, even though endurance racing is quite spectacular, Imola is most famous for its participation on the Formula 1 calendar. F1 cars race here under the name of the San Marino Grand Prix until 2006, and recently in 2020, Imola returned to the F1 schedule under the name of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix and has continued to be a part of the Formula 1 Championship. The track is located in the Italian region of Emilia-Romagna, near the town of Imola, and it sits just around 25 miles away from the city of Bologna. The track opened its doors to the public on April 25th of 1953 and is currently FIA Grade 1. The circuit has approximately 21 turns that make up the 4.9 kilometer track. That's 3 miles long for those using that system. The best place to make an overtake will be on the pit straight heading down to turn 2 of Tamburello, but besides this, overtakes won't be easy to come by. The 6 Hours of Imola also marks the home race for 3 manufacturers across the WEC field. These car brands include Ferrari and Lamborghini, who both compete in the hypercar and LMGT3 categories, and Isotta Fraschini, as they compete in hypercar with their LMH. And it's not just Italian manufacturers on the grid, but also Italian drivers, as 13 racers from Italy will make an appearance in the 6 Hours of Imola. One of them being the legend himself, Valentino Rossi, aka the Doctor. Once again, the MotoGP champion will be one of 3 drivers in that number 46 WRT BMW entry in the LMGT3 class. Also, a car to keep an eye on during this race is the Peugeot 9X8, because this is the first event where Peugeot are debuting the new upgrades on their Le Mans hypercar. The 9X8 features new bodywork, new tire dimensions, and a brand new livery, and on top of that, supposedly better reliability. And with these changes, that means that the Peugeot 9X8 will also feature a rear wing. These changes will hopefully allow Peugeot to finally challenge for overall victories consistently and at the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans, and Imola will be the debut of these new upgrades. So, we're expecting a pretty entertaining event for the first ever 6 Hours of Imola in the WEC, but there's still some factors we haven't covered yet, and that is when the event actually takes place and how you're supposed to watch it. Well, of course, before the race itself, we have the qualifying and hyperpole sessions for this 6-hour endurance race. These will take place on Saturday, April 20th, starting at 2:45 p.m. and going until 3:55 p.m. local time. Then, of course, there's the big race. That will take place on Sunday, April 21st. It will begin at 1 p.m. and go until 6 p.m. local time. As for how to watch this race live, the best option is going to be through the official WEC app. But there are other options as well, such as watching through HBO Max in the United States and across Europe on Eurosport. But if watching live is not a possibility, don't worry, because a few days after the event completes, the WEC will upload the stream to their official YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that in the description. I will also do a race review of the event, and I'll post that a few days after as well. So that was my race preview for the upcoming 2024 6 Hours of Imola. Are you excited for this Italian endurance race? And which manufacturers do you think will come out on top? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, I suggest subscribing. The reason why is because I make endurance racing content mainly on WEC and IMSA every week. And if you want to watch more videos, there's options on your screen. But for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.